really, when you're talking the kind of juggernauts of craft beer in the world, we're looking at the US, Canada, like Jane was saying. I feel that Indonesia is kind of the last frontier of that. Asia and Southeast Asia, and I just feel like that archipelago of Indonesia is kind of the last part of the wave coming. So, which is super, super exciting for us. I really wanted to kind of re-inspire myself and get back into the roots of craft beer and what it actually is and what it means to me, but also means to these guys.
What do you think about non-alcoholic beer?
I see the value in it, not only from a health perspective, a social perspective as well. People that are health conscious, people that just can't consume alcohol. You know, it doesn't mean they have to be excluded. It doesn't matter if you go out and have a no alcohol or low alcohol beer.
In Jakarta, a lot of people like to drink higher alcohol. So they have kind of like a 9-to-5 job. And then they have that 5 p.m. till 10 to have fun. So they want to have fun quicker. Whereas in Bali, you can start early, you can have one glass of beer and like go slowly into the evening. And so it's a different pace.
Well, I cannot remember when I only have one glass of beer.
Exactly.
Hello everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show today. Kali ini kita akan ngebahas tentang craft beer nih. Ada orang-orang dari Beaches Brewing Co Bali. Produk favoritnya gue itu cerveza karena garing and very easy to drink. Ada Jane yang belum lama ini masuk ke industri F&B. Dia sebagai foundernya dari Beaches Brewing Co. Dan juga ada Sam, dia adalah master brewer dari Australia yang sudah menang banyak award. Kebetulan Sam ini sangat pengalaman di industri craft beer dan sudah melewati revolusi craft beer industri di beberapa negara, khususnya Australia yang sekarang udah suatu hal yang sangat biasa craft beer itu. Dan di Asia Tenggara khususnya Indonesia ini lagi mengalami craft beer revolution. So very exciting times buat nyobain craft beer di sini. Okay, hope you guys enjoy the show. Jangan lupa subscribe di Janson Radio Podcast di YouTube, Spotify, and all other podcast platform. Juga follow kita di Instagram dan di TikTok di Janson Radio. Now please welcome Jane and Sam dari Beaches Brewing Co Bali. Enjoy the show. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to our studio.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Okay. Guys, kita bahasanya campur-campur nih hari ini karena di sini ada Jane and Sam dari Beaches Brewing Co Bali. Mungkin taunya yang udah kemarin minum kali ya, Beaches Beer. Kalau di Jakarta pada bilang yang my favorite tuh cerveza. Jane adalah managing directornya, and Sam itu adalah chief brewer. You're the brewer. Yes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Direct from Bali.
Yeah, just flew in straight here.
Okay. Jane, what can you tell us about this?
Okay, the beer.
Introduction.
So it's brewed in Bali. We have two types of beers. One cerveza, one pale ale. We brewed it in North Bali, Buleleng. Which is a long way, basically. But it's been fun. What else do you want to know?
How do you met each other? How do you met?
Well, we met back in 2022, and we just got chatting really. Mike and her business partner. Sorry. Jane,
my business partner, Mike. Right?
Okay.
Jane and her business partner, Mike, knew we had a mutual friend of ours who was helping these guys set up, and I kind of heard about the project and heard about their kind of passion for craft beer and wanting to bring craft beer to Indonesia and just kind of got chatting to them, and one thing led to another after a year or so of just being mates and chatting, and once I'd finished up where I was, we actually really kind of talked seriously about the potential of me coming to Bali to brew with the guys.
What makes you excited about this project?
Oh,
Because you're a really respected brewer in Australia already, right?
Yeah.
And you told me before you're living on your boat, a good life. But why? Why move to Indonesia?
well, I've been brewing in Australia in the craft industry for about 25 years. And I built many breweries. I've been literally, from the conception of craft beer in Australia. And now it's so huge in Australia. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of, I really love building brands. I love building breweries. I love putting together the layouts, the tanks, designing recipes and stuff like that. Also troubleshooting problems. And I just felt I was getting to a stage in Australia where that was becoming a lot easier. I could ring an electrician and they'd be there within an hour, and I kind of, it took the fun out. It took not the fun, but it kind of, I just wanted a little bit more of a challenge. I felt like I had kind of reached my, saturation
peak,
and peak in Australia. And I wanted to, I'm a person that kind of strives for excellence and continually strives for excellence. And I wanted to challenge myself.
Okay.
But on top of that, I also wanted to give back. There comes a time in your life, you being a chef also, where you spend a lot of time focusing on your products and a lot of time focusing on training, and sometimes the training and the mentoring becomes a really important part of your life, where you want to give back. And coming to Indonesia, working with these guys, working with the locals up in Northwest Bali, teaching them how to brew beer, which is an opportunity not many people get in the world. So the challenge of being in another country, of being in Northwest Bali, where sometimes it takes a week to get a technician to me, So then we just,
and you liked it?
Yeah, we down tools and then we just go diving. It's fine. Just those challenges. I really wanted to kind of re-inspire myself and get back into the roots of craft beer and what it actually is and what it means to me, but also means to these guys.
So just to let you know, she helped us set up the brewery, like from the start. Been like helping out with a lot from like, how do we like marketing and beer itself, the brewery, and how like to manage the brewery, like everything.
Can design. Yeah, we've done everything.
Basically everything.
Everything from scratch. The mentoring, the leadership team.
Yeah.
We've done everything from scratch, and I think for these guys to have that experience from the beginning is so worthwhile as well.
Exactly.
In any business, you really, really marry yourself to the kind of the product, because you've created it. You've created the art. We've created the story. We've created the entire product from the get-go.
So Jen, where does this idea come from, doing craft beer?
I think all of us have a different background story of how we came to craft beer. But personally, if you want to know mine, it's random. It's really random. So me and my family, we were traveling to Canada. And then we were doing our own stuff. I was like shopping. My dad was somewhere. And all of a sudden my dad called me, "Oh, where are you?" "Around this area." "Oh, that's nearby where I am." And then come by, there's a really cool bar. I'm like, I love drinking. And he knows I love drinking. So like, yeah, Dad, be there.
That's an important part of the job.
And I went there. And I think it was like the first time where I tried an IPA. And it kind of like, whoa, this is like some really good beer. And my dad's like, yeah, see, told you. Like,
so before that, you've been exposed to local beers in Indonesia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, before craft beer, there's a very limited amount of, you must know now, right?
Yeah,
very limited amount of selections in Indo, right? All the big companies only, right? And then?
And then...
I mean, from drinking, this is a cool bar, this is great beer, and opening a craft beer business.
Actually, my dad was in awe of like the whole, because it was a craft beer brewery right next to the bar. And that happens a lot outside of Indonesia. And he was so like amazed. Oh, he was very passionate about machines. So when he saw that, and then you can have beer right next to a brewery, it was like wow for him. Like whoa, and he said, I think this will be great if we make this in Indonesia.
Oh my God! Shout out to your dad.
Yeah. And then we were tipsy, we were laughing, like, oh yeah, Dad, if you want to do that, I'll help you.
Oh wow!
Like, and we cheered on it, and then a few years later.
A few years later. Okay. Does it make the beer better though, Sam? When you open a bar right next or close to the brewery?
Well, I mean, it's the freshest you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day, it goes from the brewery to the bar. It's almost like having a cellar door in a wine region, But also from that, you get to experience the heart and soul of the brand as well. So it's kind of where the ideas are created. It's where we have the fun. Coming up with different kind of ways to promote the beer, different marketing strengths. You can get automatic feedback from the customer as well. So, doing some small batch stuff and then putting it on tap and hearing directly back while people are looking over in the brewery. They're looking over to the brewery, drinking their beer, and you just watch the reactions on people's faces. It's the same as being a chef in the kitchen, watching someone, eat your food, critique your beer, and you kind of can see their expressions and reactions. So I love it. I love having a cellar door or a pub next to the brewery. It connects and kind of binds the two, the love of the beer and the drinking to the manufacturing side of it. And when I say manufacturing, it's the creative side.
So does beer taste better right after it was made? I never knew that. I never think about that before.
Well, it's fresh.
It's fresh.
You got to. There's 4 ingredients: malt, hops, yeast, and water.
Yeah.
It's kind of. It takes a little to settle in. So fermentation, primary from grain to brain, we call it, is about 2.5-3 weeks.
Okay.
And then having that fresh on tap, straight away. Or in the can straight away from the brewery. You just don't get better than that.
Do you have that in the Buleleng?
Yeah.
The fresh from on tap?
We don't have a cellar door there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
but
something.
We can tap it straight from there.
Yeah, we have lots of tap systems around. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
I mean, my experience on that is when I was in Copenhagen. I was working, and everybody tells me to visit the brewery, the Carlsberg and Tuborg brewery. Yeah, that's my only experience where the brewery is there and there's open bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's good. It's cheaper than water over there.
Yeah. But you're connecting your taste buds as well to the creativity and making a produce with your hands. The natural ingredients that come in. It's that real connection to the front of house, that real direct connection to punters, customers. That you just, it's perfect.
Okay. Now let's talk about the product. We haven't talked about this. So this no bullshit. Of all the craft beer, this is my favorite.
That's the way.
Thanks, Ray.
No bullshit. Especially the cerveza.
We didn't pay Ray to say that.
No.
Disclaimer.
No.
Paid him with beers, Sarah.
Yeah.
Paid with beer. Because, guys, the beer name, cerveza, it's so crisp. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like garing gitu. It's fresh. It's crisp. Not too dry. Perfect, man, for an afternoon.
Yeah. Yep.
So, what is this? Why are you given the name cerveza? Cerveza is Spanish for beer, right?
Cerveza
or is a type of beer?
No.
Okay.
Cerveza is Spanish for beer.
Okay.
I really looked at when coming up with the 2 types of products, right? I wanted to be able to reach a really wide audience.
Yeah.
Okay, so non-beer drinkers, which are probably more tuned to your, your big brewery stuff, your mainstream kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to give them an offering or a gateway, I guess, into the craft journey by producing a beer that's nice, light, easy drinking, has a slight breadiness, a little bit of spiciness on the nose from the hops.
Exactly.
But super clean, super fresh, and like smashable. But it's also...
Sorry, what's the end?
Smashable.
Smashable. What is that?
Oh yeah.
Super drinkable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can smash a lot of them,
Oh yeah, I would love to.
and I knew that Cerveza have a special place in countries with hot weather.
Yeah.
And super, kind of humid climates, because you want something at the end of the day that is cold, wet, smashable.
Yeah.
And and be able to drink it, but it's also natural. So it hasn't got any additives or preservatives. It's actually a beer that's good for you.
Okay.
So that's where the cerveza came from. I also knew that there were no cervezas in and around Indonesia. So kind of when people are thinking cerveza, they're thinking Corona.
Yeah.
So that kind of that flip to that was giving someone a familiar product, a familiar name, but giving it a craft edge to it.
But here, everybody drink it with lime, right?
Corona,
which I don't understand.
Originally, they put the lime in there to clean the rim of the bottle.
Okay.
Because they would store the bottles upside down, and that would get water around there, and it would grow. So when they took the lid off, the beer cap, they'd put lime around the edge, and then they'd just chuck it in. Okay. So it was to sterilize. And the original reason was to sterilize the top of the bottle.
Okay. Oh, this is beautiful, man. Thank you for bringing this
Pleasure.
to Jakarta. I mean, my experience in craft beer, like drinking it for the first time, it was in Australia when I visited a bar. It's a bar and steakhouse called Doncaster in Kingsford, where you can choose your own steak and everything. Yeah. And they have a selection of craft beer on tap. I say, craft beer? What is craft beer? I say, okay, from the small brewery. This is what the bartender explains to me. Okay, this is from a smaller brewery where they like artisanal beer, he said. So selection like 15. Then, oh my God, the flavor is more pronounced, my experience. Then, let's call it mainstream beer. That's my first experience. And I was like, oh my God, we don't have this in Indonesia, right? But now, fast forward 10 years later, it was everywhere. But in Bali, right? So why Bali? Is it the law? It's more lenient and supportive, the government? Or is it the water?
There is that factor. It is much more supportive because it is like a tourist area. Yeah. So they're much more like lenient towards these things. But second of all, it's also because Bali is such a nostalgic place. For me and Mike, our other partner, and we always go there for holidays, so it's a win-win for us. Like brew beer there, it's somehow easier, but we also like having the idea of going there for work.
Quote unquote work.
They come to the brewery and it's their happy place. Yeah. So that's what I feel too.
So what's needs to be on your checklist in choosing the location of a brewery? Maybe you can help also. Well,
as you suggested, a clean water source.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do have RO, reverse osmosis, in the brewery. So that's super helpful, and as well as UV. But we draw our water from aquifers deep in the ground, but they come off the mountains of Bali. So right up in the volcanic kind of mountains in the middle of Bali, Bedugal area. Yeah. It's super, super clean water already. But also, I think, part of it was having it in a rural setting. Having it in somewhere where we could educate and employ locals around the area, which is giving back to the community. Because we're very focused on that as well. Yeah. So that was another idea around having it in Northwest Bali. Yeah. But the setting is just gorgeous there. We're 200-300 meters from a mountain range, and then 500 meters from the ocean. It's a really stunning area. We've got grapes growing around us as well. It's just a really lovely, good soil, good clay. Yeah. Good people.
Do you have something to add to that in choosing the location?
Yeah. So, of course, one, we have to adhere by the rules. Yeah. Number two is it's not choosing a location, but we realized that it was, we're doing something great because we started building the brewery during COVID, and back then a lot of the hospitality people in Bali are not doing well with their jobs, or they have to go back to their villages, and a lot of people come from Buleleng, which is where our brewery is. So when we started building our brewery, we are employing a lot of these people and they looked so happy, and then they're like, thank God we can work again, and it was
grateful.
Yeah. And we're grateful for that too.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you look at the location of the brewery, it's built on one of the guys that's now brewing with us. It's built on his grandfather's rice paddy. Oh. He helped construct the actual physical building, and now he's brewing in it. Wow. So we've got that really lovely lineage of ancestry connected to the brewery as well. And as Jane said, watching the locals getting back to work again, it's just inspired me, definitely. I think it's inspired all of us, just watching them get in and, hit it hard, wanting to learn, wanting to create, wanting to be involved in what we're doing enthusiastically.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah. Enthusiastic about the work.
Yep.
Okay. So, what's business like?
Right now,
yes. You've launched. I mean, we've met in Jakarta in Big Garden, right?
Did we meet there? Oh yeah, we met there.
Yeah, we met.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because we met twice.
We met twice. The other one in the dinner.
I still remember.
Get her another beer. Can you pass me another pale ale?
You're promoting the beaches there, and we met.
Yes.
So how's business?
She remembers it. She remembers it clearly, mate. It was the day she saw your beautiful face.
Business is doing it's doing well. It's getting stable. We're looking at a pretty stable graph now. Yeah. So we do forecasting every week as well. So
every week.
Every week.
Okay.
We got to know what to brew. We need 4 to 6 weeks to actually. So we've got to kind of predict our growth ahead of time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes we miss, but we're getting better at it every day. And this is a huge learning thing for Mike and Jane, who have always had their heads in other businesses as opposed to food and beverage, which we're in. So we're kind of taking it organically as well, slowly. Just
that's the way to go. I think.
Huge pressure on us to be out there making sure we have the ability at this stage, which is fantastic, is to sell to people that we want to sell to, not just, as a term we use in Australia, not just drop our pants and, get the beer out to whoever, whatever, whoever, at a low price. It's all that. It's we have the ability to choose our own path.
Okay.
But in terms of May, I think right now Bali is not doing pretty tight for tourism.
Okay. It's been a hectic wet season.
Yeah.
It's been a really hectic wet season. Yeah.
It rains all the time. Same like here. Every day.
Still rainy, man. Yeah. Whereas last year by now it had kind of dried up and we were starting to get some really good weather. So I don't know whether that's an impact, but when you're looking at Canggu and down south and all like that, the streets are flooded.
Yeah.
It's not the place I'd want to go on holiday. But,
No, but in Jakarta as well. Usually it stops raining by March. No, it rains every day. Crazy.
I think Jakartans are built different. I think
In what
you guys
way?
go out because it's. I mean, the market, the Jakartan market to the Balinese market are very, very different beasts.
Yes.
Right. A lot of the clientele for us here in Jakarta is, entrepreneurs,
Lifestyle
chefs,
restaurants, right?
lifestyles.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that are out and about now aren't doing what their parents did, getting married at 25, 30, having kids. They're going, we got all this coin, let's go out and have some fun. And that's the locals as well. And that's awesome. Coming here, I always go home with such a hangover. Because these guys, on a Tuesday night, and it's like put a bottle of, really good whiskey on the table.
You chose the bottle, Sam.
Yeah, I did. But I see groups, I see young groups doing that. And they're really into what they're drinking, and they're going and having beers, and they're more like you said, lifestyle based as opposed to family orientated, and they're career orientated as well. They're working hard, playing hard, drinking hard, even if it's pissing down with rain, He's still out and about in the bars and still doing what you guys do. So I think that's a big difference between the tourist side of Bali and the entrepreneurial drinker and
Jakarta.
In Jakarta,
And you try to capture both, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Of course.
There's an interesting opinion going around about Jakarta and Bali and how they both drink differently. So in Jakarta, a lot of people like to drink higher alcohol, alcoholic drinks because they have a 9 to 5 job, and then they have that 9 till 10. 5 p.m. till 10 to just have fun. So they want to have fun like quicker. They want to package it all that into like a smaller piece of time.
Quicker.
Whereas in Bali, you can start early. You can have one glass of beer and like just go slowly into the evening. And you want to last until the evening because that's when you want to go out with your friends and have a nice dinner and. So it's a different pace.
Okay.
I agree. I agree with that.
Well, I cannot remember when I only have one glass of beer.
Exactly.
Who just have one glass, right? Two.
That's the initial idea, right?
Yeah.
Let's have one glass.
Let's go out for a nice dinner and just a beer or two.
Beer or two.
3 o'clock in the morning. You're sitting in a curb eating a kebab with your... That's Jane and I quite often as well.
Yeah.
So now there's a lot of competition, right? In Indonesia, a lot.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I'd call it friendly competition.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I would say that we all need each other.
Yeah.
It's the craft beer revolution that's coming to Indonesia, and we all need each other to create fantastic products. So the people kind of come. That whole if you build it, they will come kind of thing.
And the drinkers does not just drink one brand. They want to try
different,
try different things.
And we have between the breweries that we do have, and they happen to be mostly in Bali. We have great relationships with them. We have great friendships with them. We'll all go out and go and have a few beers together and talk about different things, what everyone's up to. It's not always focused on beer. It's a good time if some of those breweries come to Jakarta. Jane and Michael usually catch up with them. It's a little family.
It's a great feeling of camaraderie and collaboration, which is very important, I think, especially in the F&B industry, right? We're all doing the same thing,
right? Yeah.
And that's not if you're not with me, you're against me mentality. No.
We're all trying to achieve the same thing at the end of the day.
Yes.
Which is literally bringing good beer to people, beer that we're passionate about, products that we're passionate about. and you know, sharing that with people and educating people on you know, better consumption.
Exactly. And you mentioned interesting thing. One thing, this craft beer revolution, which is you mentioned is just starting now in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So how is it compared to other countries? Let's say India, Korea, Australia is evolved already, right? It's established.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you're talking the kind of juggernauts of craft beer in the world, we're looking at the US, Canada, like Jay was saying, Australia, England is coming on, and I feel that Indonesia is kind of the last frontier of that. Southeast Asia is onto it. There's breweries all throughout Thailand, China, South Korea, Vietnam, India, like you said, everywhere. There's all these craft beers going around. Asia and Southeast Asia, and I just feel like that the archipelago of Indonesia is kind of the last part of the wave coming. So, which is super, super exciting for us. Like super exciting, because we're coming into the market in a new you know, a new market where we get the chance to educate people, where we get the opportunity to help people discover, you know, different trends, or the trend that we're going for. We're the ones actually on the front line doing it. It's a hard slog. It's
very hard, because we used to have all these brand mainstream beers, which is in a certain price range, right? That's the main challenge, right? Yeah. It's good, but oh my God, I only have two because of the price. That must be one of your biggest challenges, right?
For craft beers, But that's why we need each other. You know? We can't change the I guess landscape by ourselves. You know. So.
Yeah, and cost of goods these days.
Oh my God!
You know, all of our stuff comes from. When I'm not using fruit, which is locally, it all comes from overseas. So the US, Australia, Europe. You know, and after COVID, it's just so costs are good, but then we also don't want to make a beautiful beer with all these beautiful fresh ingredients and then sell it at a really cheap price. That's not
no.
It's not what we want. That's what we, you know. So, you know, sell it at a price that's fair to the consumer as well as the company, and it's about getting people kind of involved in the wave of craft beer.
Yeah.
And once they're hooked, they'll keep going. They'll keep coming back. People will keep coming back, because they'll say, try that, and then try a bintang. Yeah. No offense to
I love
anyone
bintang.
Producing bintang, but they're just two completely different things. It's like having Macca's, McDonald's, and
Macca's. There's Australian Macca's.
It's like having Macca's and then going and having a beautiful smashed burger. You know,
it's two different
farm raised meat. You know, all of that. It's two completely different things, but they both play a role. You know, like craft beer and like, you know, mainstream beers like that. They play a role in society, and whilst we might be a small percentage of the beer market and the beer sales, we're a really important percentage of that as well.
Yeah. Hey guys, kalau kalian enjoy the podcast so far, thank you very much. Dan jangan lupa subscribe di Janson Radio Podcast. Back to the show. Okay. And now let's talk about the second product, Pale Ale.
Pale Ale.
So
we've talked about the cerveza, right? Nice, clean, crisp. A bit of a gateway beer. Yeah. Bit of a beer that's going to kind of bring you over to a little bit more flavour, a little bit more aroma.
Complex,
and then we step up to the big sister, Pale Ale. So Pale Ale is probably the largest style of beer in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will thought lager or pilsner.
When I judge a lot of competitions around the world. Yeah. By far the biggest category is pale ales.
Okay, so for the listeners, maybe explain the different types of beer and what makes it different.
So you've got two main style beers, but they have families all around those two. Okay. So we have a lager. right, in one corner. But that could be a Pilsner. It could be, any different. There's even stouts that use lager yeasts.
Okay.
Right. So there's a whole family sitting around the lager, and then you've got your pale ale or your ale. Sorry, not pale ale. Your ale. And then there's a whole family sitting around that.
So the difference is to do with
yeast.
Yeast.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you've got your lager yeast and your ale yeast.
Okay.
And there's now in this day and age, there's a few other hybrid yeasts that are coming through as well. But the two main families are lagers and ales, right? So Cerveza sits in the lager family. Okay. The pale ale sits in the ale family. Okay. So generally it has a little bit more flavour, a little bit more body.
Yeah.
And I have a particular way of brewing, and my style of brewing is generally based around aroma and flavour. So hop aroma and hop flavour. Okay. So bitterness is not generally something that I go for. If I'm going to have a beer that's going to be high in bitterness, I will have the body and the flavour and everything that comes through to hold that bitterness. So it's just not a real sharp, astringent bitterness.
Yeah.
So flavour and aroma and drinkability. Sessionability is
Sessionability
is super, super important.
What is session? Smashability and now sessionability.
Yeah, right. Well, so it's like
what is sessionability?
We haven't gone to crushability.
Crushability. Yeah. Right? There's more
So
abilities.
smash, crush, and sessionability.
Yeah, we have lots of
what is
abilities.
the sessionability then?
It's being able to sit down with your friends and have 2, 3, 4, 5, watching the football.
Longer time.
Yep. So
Sessionability. It's a session of
having
drinking
a session.
pale ale.
Yeah, that's it. And sometimes you go to the big double IPAs. You might 1 or 2 maybe.
2 max.
Exactly, 2 max.
Yeah.
If you were to sit down and have a bunch of cervezas or pale ales, these ones, you could have a 6-pack in a night. You could sit on it all night, kind of thing.
Okay.
Fridge fillers.
Yeah.
So beers, your go-to beers. The one that
We have to Indonesian have to learn about these terms, Jane.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Well, fridge fillers, like you said in Australia, you and your mates would go and buy a case of beer and put it in your fridge, and every week it would be a different case of beer. I mean, then when you bought your case of beer, you might buy 2 or 3 kind of funkier ones.
Yeah,
maybe,
just
to try. But what you go to in the fridge is your fridge filler. So that's our pale ale and the cerveza. But with the pale, you'll find it's a bit more fruity, a bit more aromatic on the aromas. So we're lifting up a level. We're lifting up from our cerveza, which is nice, clean, crisp, and we've got complexity in this.
Yes.
So complexity on the fullness on the palate, complexity on the nose. But it is also one of those beers that if you want, just drink it. But if you want to pour it into a glass, swirl it, have a smell, go. That it does both jobs. It's super sessionable, but also really quite an interesting and complex beer if you want it to be.
Yeah. Does this considered bitter in your palate or not?
Not for me.
Lower
bitterness.
than other pale ales that I've ever
Okay.
tasted.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is nice.
But you've got to have the body to hold the bitterness up.
Yeah, it definitely has body.
But when you're going to an IPA, right?
No, it's more bitter.
That's when
sharper.
you're getting more bit. Yeah. So this is more about the flavour and aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas not being aggressive or overly aggressive on the bitterness. It's all just got to sing. The whole. It's like reading a book. A beginning, a middle, and an end. There's, reading books that have a shitty finish. It's just like, disappointed. Or if it starts off a bit slow, you close your book and you choose another one. It's got to have. It's a story.
Yeah.
It's a story. It's a crafted story in your mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the brewery open for the public?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Okay. Not yet.
So,
maybe.
Not at this stage.
Not this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to focus on just delivering the best quality and having good administration, good everything, and then focus on that first.
So what city have you been in now? In Bali, Jakarta, of course.
Yes, Bali. So
city?
Jakarta, Bali, and then recently Bandung, Surabaya. Someone was.
Oh, I think we've got some beers floating around Lombok.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got we sent some kegs over there recently.
Well, you have kegs as well.
Or some beers, yeah. We're both keg and can.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Does beer taste better always in kegs? I always want to ask a brewer this.
That's an interesting question. It's a question I could ask you. Does a burger taste better on a plate or wrapped in a bit of...
Ooh.
Yeah. It's the product that's inside it. I love...
But it's two different things or not? Do you consider it?
No, it's the same. It's the same product in two different vessels.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I love drinking draft beer.
Yeah.
Draft beer coming off a tap, fresh draft beer. There's nothing better. But then, going down the beach and opening a can or being with your mates, sitting out watching the sunset and that...
It depends.
Opening a can. I think it's just setting.
The kegs depends more on the freshness. I think a lot of... because I've experienced... I work with one of the craft beer company in Bali as well for my bar. I want to have a bar on tap. But... because the demand at my bar is so low, the beer is not that fresh anymore. So it makes it lessens the quality, of course, right? I think the keg depends on the freshness of the beer more.
We have a saying, fresh is best.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you've got a beautiful 8% barrel aged stout or something like that you want to get nice length on it, But fresh is best for sure.
Yeah, but for stout like Guinness, I think it's almost two different products if you're talking about can and stout, because it's so different. The difference is striking for me. I don't know if that's right in your eyes. But award-winning brewer.
Guinness is brewed all around the world in different breweries under license all around the world.
Okay.
So the cans that you get here, I think they're local, or are they coming from Dublin, Ireland, or London?
It doesn't have body, the can.
It's super thin, but that's where's it coming from? Is it locally brewed in Jakarta?
I don't know.
Or Java?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're looking at your product, checking out where it's come from. I had a Guinness the other day down in Denpasar, and they advertise, this venue advertises that it's imported Guinness from Dublin.
Okay.
And it was magic. It was absolute magic. It was beautiful.
We used to have it in Jakarta.
I can't drink the Guinness that you pull out the fridges here. I can't. It's all locally brewed. No offense.
No.
But
it's just
it's
different.
no body.
It's
watery. It's not got that kind of. And our Guinness in Australia is stuff that's brewed in Australia is a little bit sharper and a bit too roasty. I mean, I still love it, but it's a bit too roasty. This Guinness I had the other day, it was like singing. It was beautiful.
So it's like, I think it's like different when they're brewed in different countries.
Yeah, they have regulations on
regulations, also different water that they use, and maybe they want to shift the taste a little bit to, Yeah,
you're right. To the market that they're brewing in, so the more sweeter and kind of. Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's something that I realized around spending time overseas is how taste buds are geared in different countries. So you guys like it you like stuff real sweet here. Sweet or salty.
Yeah.
But
not me, but the market.
General market.
Yeah.
Sweet, it's crazy. Asia in general, they sweet tooths.
Yeah.
You have to go to Jogja sometimes, Sam.
Oh my God.
Mike keeps promising.
Everything's sweet in the center.
Mike keeps promising. We're going to have a brewery trip. Brewery family trip.
Okay.
And we do that as a team. We kind of we get out and about and discover different things. If we've got conferences overseas.
You've been around?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Jane and I have been in Australia together.
Yep.
Jane's sister lives there, which is easy, and we took around one of our big festivals there and bobbed for apples and did pull-ups and drank beers that were 18%.
18%?
Yeah, we had some
my
crazy stuff.
So nowadays, companies, not only in F&B, but everywhere, thinking very concentrated on doing something with the local community like yourself and sometimes using local ingredients. Why is it so important for you guys?
Well, I think we have a lot of great local ingredients, and we always, I always see fruits and everything imported. Everything's imported, and I think how can we grow if we always consume something that's imported rather than if it's local? Then we can help grow the local companies to grow and make things better, and or not even local companies, local communities, anything.
For me, it connects us to the land. It connects us to the land and to the community and to the traditions of the land that we're brewing on. So whenever I use any fruit, I always use local.
What fruits do you use?
Dragon fruit, passion fruit. Yeah, we've got. I've got a little orchard, side project. I've planted a little orchard out the side of the brewery. We've got quite a bit of land to work with there. So we've got cacao trees, we've got pineapple growing there. I've got some passion fruit on a trellis. It's coming up. Mango, citrus, lemon, lime, and we've also got an awesome little 300-litre pilot kit. So once those trees start to blossom and all of that, we can start using that in our pilot kit. But everything we try and do, Jane's family's also got a farm not far away from the brewery as well, which we're hoping we might be able to utilise. In the local area, it's 20 minutes from the brewery. And they've just started producing, growing a whole different array of fruits, mainly fruits and stuff. So
it's all I think it's also about like exploration, like what fruits grow here and are sweeter here and stuff like that. And I think you in the beginning of this session you asked how we started this and then maybe how we all got together. There is actually a few things that I think we attracted us together, and I think that's heart, and then passion and connection, and also exploration. So is that right, Sam? It's the first time I'm saying this to you, but it was like in my head for like months, and I think.
I think what we're not just a company or the company is a harsh word. We're actually a group of mates, like-minded mates that love doing what we're doing and are passionate about doing what we're doing, and we connect as a family now. I know Jane's family. Jane knows my family. They come stay with me. Mike and his family. It's just we've turned it from business partners to being family.
It's beautiful.
Which is really nice. I mean, we can help each other along there. We can talk openly.
That's very important.
And kind of connect with each other in that way, and we all kind of have a really similar. As Jane said, we all come from different backgrounds, first and foremost, but we have a similar idea and we have a similar heart in what we want to give to the community, give to the people. And it's not monetary based. It's not anything like that. It is literally from the heart and soul of loving craft beer and loving what it's all about and wanting to share it with the rest of the world. And especially Indonesia, not just the rest of the world, but Indonesia. So you guys have waited long enough, I think.
Yes. Yes.
It's time
what we need? I mean, I know a lot of craft beer companies in Bali open their own bars, right?
Yeah.
Open up one here in Jakarta. I mean, Jakarta needs a craft beer bar, a proper one.
So watch this space. We are we're currently throwing around ideas.
All right.
On we can't say too much at the moment. But we're currently exploring some different ideas in different areas on opening our own church, so to speak, our own craft beer church.
There you go.
Both in Jakarta and in Bali.
Okay,
as well.
Stay tuned for that, guys.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Okay. We start again. We're talking about sour beer, guys, after a short toilet break. Sour beer. So you're looking into, last time we talked, you're looking into making some beers with fruits. Making some beer with fruits, right?
Yep.
Is the sour the only way to go when pairing beer with fruits?
No.
I'm not talking about sweet flavored beer. Personally, I don't think it's beer.
So you're kind of talking about the pastry beers, we call them.
Oh, pastry beer.
Or
That's a good one.
smoothie beers.
Yeah.
It's kind of big. Thick
my
in
first
the glass.
experience is in France. I'm at the beer bar in France.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, Ray," because I'm a regular. "Hey, we have a new thing here called flavored beer. We have peach flavor." It's like, okay, I try it. And it's sweet and it's not beer.
Yeah, but that's generally they do it throughout Scandinavia too. They'll get a good Hefeweizen, a really lovely base of Hefeweizen, and then they'll just get some mango juice and just pour the mango juice in the top of the beer.
Yeah.
That's not a fruit beer.
Okay.
Right, a fruit beer, that's just juice added to a beer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Whereas a fruited beer generally happens during fermentation.
Okay.
And there's heaps of bases you can use. You can use Hefeweizen bases. You can use a Pilsner base. You can use a sour, like a Berliner Weiss base. There's so many different types and styles of base beer you can use, but it's how you use the fruit in the beer during the fermentation and production side.
Okay. But usually in Indonesia, they have fruit beer, almost sour beer. Almost.
Yeah.
Which I don't think Indonesians prefer.
Craft fruit beer or like
Craft fruit beer. I'm not talking about the pastry beer.
Which is like big
the
donut-y
craft
kind of
fruit beer. I tried a couple. It's almost always sour, which I don't think Indonesians prefer sour beer. My experience as a drinker.
Generally, the sour side is where you get the complexity. Our sour, so we've got a dragon fruit passion fruit sour. It's 3.2%. Right, it's a really lovely hot day drinking beer. You've had it as well. It's beautiful, blush pink in the glass. But then I've also got a cheeky. Now we have the ability. We have amazing ability to. We've got a little pilot kit, so we play around with stuff all the time, which is great. 300 liters or something. I bought 100 kilos of a particular brand of ice cream. That's a mango ice cream.
Okay.
And I did an imperial sour at 8%.
Okay.
And then put this mango ice cream, which I fell in love with when I first came here. By hand, took it off the paddle pop stick and put it into the beer. And now we've created this this
mango ice cream beer.
Mango, but it's not really. It's an ice cream. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's got a little bit of citrus, but it's an imperial sour. So you've got the fullness of the alcohol. Generally, higher alcohol beers will have a fuller palate.
Yeah.
Right. You need that to contain the heat of the alcohol. Right, but it'll have a slight sourness off to the side, but then you've got this really nice mango kind of character coming through. There's a little bit of an ice cream kind of lactosey type, bite to it all, but it all just marries up really well. And it was just an idea that we came up with at the brewery, like, we love the ice cream. Let's put it in this. Let's give it a go. Try it. Chuck it in. And that's.
I want to be a part of the product tasting.
Yeah. You have to come to the brewery, right?
Come over. Take the 4.5-hour trip from Denpasar.
I love how the trip just every time we go, it's 3.5 hours at the map, but it can be 3.5 and then it can be 5 hours. Every time you just never know whether there's ceremony or traffic.
Yes. So Jen, how do you feel being in the industry now?
How do I feel?
Do you enjoy it?
I enjoy it very much. I feel great because I'm doing what I've grown to love now while doing what I love. Drinking. I have grown to love you, Sam. It's great. I love the fact that I get to meet a lot of people. The fact that I get to meet and eat a lot of food, drink a lot of drinks, try different things. So I think the F&B industry, it's something that I didn't know that I love, but I actually love, you know. I'm here to explore more of that, you know, with you guys, I guess.
I'm always curious when people enter the industry. It's not from the start. Me, from the start, I just know F&B industry all my life.
Yeah.
Even this podcast is about F&B, right? Yeah, but I'm always curious when people coming from the other industries.
Yeah.
Because it always looks fun when viewing from the outside, right?
Yeah.
You have to meet a lot of people, drink a lot of drinks, eat a lot of food. But when you're inside, it's different, right? Not only the good things, but you have also to embrace the challenging things, right?
Yeah.
Like taking care of the people, the market, the economy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, sometimes you're really busy and you have like a ton of people to take care of and reply and like see each other. But when you do, you're like, oh, thank God, I'm like, you know, these friends that I have now, new friends. You know, whenever I want to go out, eat something, try something new, like this guy, you know, that guy, he loves noodles. I'll ask him to come with me, try these noodles, you know.
Okay. So what about you, Sam? You have a career in the other industry before all this craft beer?
Yeah. I started pouring beers when I was about 16.
Okay.
Yep. So I've been in hospitality from a very early age, and I started my craft beer journey at about 20, and that was just drinking, consuming, pouring, selling, and then I got into brewing at about 25 at Little Creatures. So I was the first female brewer in Australia.
Yeah, there's not a lot, right?
Era. Now there is.
Down there is a lot.
So we have a fantastic organisation which I helped co-found called Pink Boots.
Okay.
And it is what we do is we help to uplift and support women in the industry. Now that's any industry.
Okay.
That has something to do with beer.
I see.
So people behind the bar, people in the office in a brewery, you know, people doing marketing, sales, all of that. So it's to help support women in the industry, in the beer industry.
That's based in Sydney, yeah?
It's worldwide, yeah. So my friend and some my peers in Australia, we set up the Australian League.
Right.
So it's now huge. We're doing fantastic things. You know, the rest of the guys that are, you know, championing it now are doing amazing things. So
how do you get in touch? Maybe people in Indonesia need to know this.
Yeah, I would love to. There's a small group of us that it's in the infancy of getting together and seeing what we can do. International Women's Day is a fantastic time to get together and support other women in the industry. So we'll focus on you know, more events like that and supporting more businesses that are female orientated. I mean, you look at our business and what our company, and we're 50-50, I think, in regards to leadership. Actually, no. More women.
More women.
More women. Yeah. More women, actually. Yeah.
And so the head office.
Head office is mainly
women.
Females. Yeah. In the brewery, we have two of us. Marketing. Yeah. So I'd actually say that we more give as much as. You know, we love we love our whole family and our whole team. It's just happened to turn out that way, that we're quite female strong.
Okay.
Which is great.
Yeah. Good for you.
Onwards and upwards.
I mean, especially in the alcohol industry, it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, right?
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we need more. I mean, now in Jakarta, at least, what's going on. Like, truthfully, bars are opening up everywhere, and a lot of my friends are looking for a female head bartender.
Okay.
And there's not a lot of it. Yeah.
Why is that, you think? Why are they looking for females?
More, my experience again, more detail oriented.
You're spot on.
My experience, yes.
That's
more
what
detail
I feel in HQ as well.
Yeah.
The HQ.
But in the
It's a good thing.
HQ, yeah.
But in the brewery, and I've mentored and worked with a lot of both men and women, and they're both fantastic in their own right. But I will absolutely agree with you that I think there is more attention to detail.
Yeah, that attention to detail
from the females, but also, you know, it doesn't the passion that both men and women bring to the industry from in the brewery and the brewing perspective is equal, but they're two very different kind of I guess sexes to work with, both equally as amazing as each other.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's
attention
just
to
a
detail.
difference. Yeah.
And you know, I have a bit of a saying. It's work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So, I find that being a female and maybe not as physical in a really physical industry, you really have to take care of that and that mentality as well in lifting and moving things around. You know, everything's heavy, everything's hot, everything's fast.
Yeah.
So I try and kind of instill that onto the boys as well.
Yeah.
Think smarter.
Nowadays, yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
But in the early days, you feel the challenge?
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, in the early days.
Absolutely.
But now there's a lot, but in the early days, maybe.
Early days, I was lifting as much, but that's my nature anyway. That's my nature.
Yeah.
I work hard, I play hard, you know. But my nature is always, I've never felt less of a person because of my you know, sex. And I've always strived to. That's the way I was brought up. I was always riding dirt bikes harder than the boys. I was always, you know, going out surfing in rougher weather. You know, I was always just doing that. That's just the way I'm built. But you know, that's not that for everybody. So
especially in Asian countries, do you feel that pressure? Like, if you're a woman, you need to find a good husband, take care of the family. Does it happen in your family, Jane?
Yeah. It did happen. It did happen in my family. Now that I am the youngest out of four kids, and I'm a woman, and I'm like the only one who's not married, especially that, I do feel the pressure, but I mean, in the end, it's like, it's my life.
Oh yeah, of course. You know? Of course.
Yeah, but pressure's there, definitely. Okay. Definitely. And then that role of getting married, it's there, yeah. And
is there still a stigma in Indonesia working in the alcohol industry for a woman? You're labeled.
Not that I'm exposed to at this point of my life, and my circle of friendships.
Okay. Yeah, because I have this one intern. She came in as a server internship, but she said to me like, okay, this is in my cocktail bar, and say, hey, I want to learn something about alcohol. So I put her behind the bar as a bar back, and she was brilliant.
Yeah,
she was brilliant. She was attentive. Attention to detail that we mentioned about. She wants to learn. She was fast. It's like, oh my God, I found a new bartender. But the challenge is the family. You cannot work behind the bar.
Why is that?
It's the culture, the stigma.
Just the culture?
It's a stigma.
Religious culture, or?
No, it's a culture where when you're working in a bar, you love to drink, you love to get drunk, and all the negative things. You came home late.
Oh, so
You know what I
culture
mean?
from a family perspective.
Yeah, working in a bar is a lot of negative things.
Okay.
But conversely, I rarely see a bartender get smashed, you know, because they're professional, they're working. Me, I usually get smashed.
Us sitting right across the bartender would get
The
smashed.
people sitting across because they're working, right?
I think, in this day and age, when you're passionate about something and you are the ultimate professional and you loved your craft, whether that's brewing beer, whether that's what Jane does with the company, or whether it's somebody behind the bar, and you see that passion and that drive, that person's not going out and getting hammered.
No.
And then rocking up to work the next day like, going home.
with a hangover, no.
It's a professional.
Yeah.
And it's somebody that's passionate about what they do. And I think we need to start breaking down these walls.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know a lot of it might come from family, and I don't know, the culture here. I've always been somebody to believe in who the person is as opposed to, and their ability as opposed to what sex or religion or whatever that they might be. I think it's time in this day and age to break down those barriers, break down that the chains that hold people back from doing what they want to do and being passionate about what they want to do. It was not so long ago that we rarely saw women in the kitchen. It was a men's domain, and they're not tough enough to be able to handle the pace and But absolutely, what women now bring to the kitchen is a calmness.
No.
A calmness, a certain, and it happens in the brewery, it happens in the bar. It eliminates this machoism in industry.
Which is a good thing.
I think it's a great thing. It's fantastic.
I used to be a chef owner, and when I decided to not be in the kitchen day to day, and one of the first chef as a head chef I hired is a woman. It's called, shout out to JJ. The calmness thing was so true. It's so calm, everything, which is great for business for me. It's so different when I'm leading the kitchen.
It's the testosterone. When all your boys are in there, like flicking your testosterone around, it's like, calm that shit. And I think there's a certain way. Look, I've seen some chaotic kitchens. I've seen some chaotic breweries. I'm not saying it works. It works in every kind of situation, but definitely there is I really personally, I love having an even team in the brewery. I love having it guys and girls in there on an even level and even basis, because it just has this beautiful combination
and they have different input from their
exactly from different perspectives, and I love it. I love having I don't think I could ever work in a full a brewery with all men or all women. I love the harmony between the two.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
There has to be a balance.
Really important too, the balance, for sure.
You have different point of view from different backgrounds, different inputs.
Yeah.
Which is great for the business,
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So we have a lot of questions from the listeners. Thank you guys for the questions. Keep them coming. The most interesting ones we always ask to the guests. Okay, for Jen and Sam. First one, Leo Julio _ Seberapa sulit untuk meyakinkan orang mau mencoba craft beer karena secara harga dan mungkin bir-bir yang umum ditemukan terkesan lebih aman dalam artian sesuai apa yang dibayar dengan didapatkan. Okay, so I translate a little bit. Maybe Jane, you can answer first, then I will translate first.
I understood everything you said.
So
I need to brush up on my Indonesian.
The challenge is the price for craft beer, right? Because of the price of all the mainstream beer, there's a certain price range. Craft beer is there a challenge that you face regarding the prices that maybe the customer expects more because of the price.
Definitely.
And maybe because it's so cheap before, Indonesia thinks like beer is beer.
Yeah. Yes. So the question was seberapa sulit untuk
drive through that craft beer, price barrier.
Yes, and bikin orang mencoba. Kalau mencoba is a different thing than actually minta mereka untuk beli.
Okay. Yeah. To get people to try is so different when to get people to buy.
Yeah.
But actually, when they've tried, so that's why we give out a lot of free beers as well, is to get them to try first. Because generally, after they try, and then they taste it, and it's like, wow, this is something else. I want this again, and then they have that drive to buy again. So and buying it again, I think probably around 90% of the people has really good feedback, and that they actually want to buy it again.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in this like winds of change.
Yeah.
And yeah. What about you, Sam?
Okay, Sam. Let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
You've been around.
Thanks, Ray.
No, I mean in this way, you've been around in the craft beer industry.
Yeah. No,
In other countries, for example, Australia, does the mainstream beer is priced considerably cheaper than the craft beer?
So for us, between mainstream and craft, we all pay the same tax now. Between mainstream and craft, we have a different tax system to what we used to have.
Okay,
so mainstream, which is bulk produced, mainstream owned by multinationals, they would used to pay the same tax as what a family-owned craft brewery is.
Which is our situation right now, right?
Which is us,
But this is in Australia.
So in Australia, so now there's been a split in the tax over a certain amount of litres that a business produces. So then one is now considered a craft producer under a certain amount of litres, and over that, and it doesn't matter if you're still craft. Over that you will be taxed a higher tax bracket, right? So that directly goes back to the customer. So the customer can now buy, and I guess it's again same with any produce you have. If it's premium, you're going to pay a higher price. If it's natural, if it's organic, if it's free range, you're going to pay a higher price because it takes more to produce it.
Yes.
So tax for us was a big thing, but also education in Australia. So that's huge. Educating and saying, well, why am I paying more for this when I can just go and buy that? Yeah,
you've experienced that, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when you buy that, which you think is an Australian-owned company, is actually owned by a Japanese head company or Anheuser-Busch or something like that. They think that they're buying an Australian product, but the money is not going back into the Australian economy. So that's why with our product here that we have, we're locally brewed and we're independently owned. So the money that you are spending on this beer stays in Indonesia. Right? It gives Indonesian jobs.
Yes.
Whether it's printing cans, whether it's brewing the beer, whether it's out on the streets selling the beer, it goes back into Indonesia. And for us as a company, that's really, really important. And that's why we're super proud to say, locally brewed and independently owned. What you spend is what stays here in your country.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That's why you face the same challenge, maybe, right? Maybe your craft beer price a lot higher than these multinational companies.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the multinational companies that aren't using whole hop pellets. They're using tetra hops, and they're using shortcuts to achieve what they want to achieve. They're using flavor enhancers. They're using all these things, additives, preservatives, and all of that. This is a natural product. So for me, it's like, you know, I always go back to food. Food's my passion, and this is food. Okay, so it's like free range eggs as opposed to caged eggs. You know, what do you want to do? You're consuming it. It's your body, and you have a choice of everything you consume. So, do you want to be consuming well? By you know, drinking this, or do you want to just be put it down your throat and not really caring about how it affects you, your body, the economy, you know, everything really. And that's really important. I think that's really important. We all want to consume better. We all want to be better at what we're doing. I mean, a lot of people also want to look better doing it. So now it's somewhat trendy to be drinking a craft beer.
Oh yes.
Because you're on the craft train, but it's actually better for you. It's better for you know what you're trying to preach. I guess. You going to say something?
No, I mean
a great way to test it, maybe that smashability. You smash a lot of craft beer and you smash a lot of mainstream beer and see how you feel the next day.
I guarantee. No. That's super true. That is really true.
That's the way to test it, right?
It is, because you're going to feel a lot better the next day, because the ethanol that's produced from the natural ingredients here is different to the ethanol that's produced from the sugar. And most mainstream beers are about 40% white sugar, because you get 100% alcohol from that. All of our sugars are derived from our malt on there, and it's our job as brewers to actually convert the starches into fermentable sugars. So it's a different, better ethanol. Less headaches, less hangovers, better for your body.
So interesting fact. My dad's using one of those. Do you know one of those diabetes tracker? Something. You put it in your arm and you can track your blood and
sugar level.
Sugar levels. And so he tried with these commercial beers. And like a few beers in, it spikes. It spikes really hard. And then he tried with craft beers, and it's so much significantly lower. It's not spiking. It's so that's interesting.
So you're using your dad as a guinea pig.
I think he's willing.
He's using himself as a lab rat, a willing lab rat.
It's his initiative. So
the key is to educate the people, to let people know about these things, right?
Absolutely. And we've got some product R&D that we've been doing with some naturally brewed low carb beers. That again, malt, hops, yeast, and water. No additives, no preservatives. You know, when you're looking at your low carb mainstream beers, there's excuse my French, but shit that's been put in there to actually ferment, to take out, extract the carbohydrates from the actual product. Whereas we can do it naturally. We can do it naturally. It's there. You just got to take the time and the patience to be able to do it.
That's it. I'm curious, Sam. What do you think about non-alcoholic beer?
If you'd asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have said, don't be stupid. I really would have.
I'm at that point right now. But I don't know about you, Jane.
But I absolutely...
Getting into it, actually.
I see the value in it, not only from a health perspective, but... a social perspective as well.
Okay.
We just talked about communities and people going out and getting smashed and doing that because their mates are doing it. It doesn't mean, and it's huge in Australia, it's huge in the States. Okay. It's really big. It's the fastest growing category in a growing category around. And I think it's fantastic because you can create a beer that tastes exactly like this. It smells exactly like this.
Yeah, I think because of the taste.
It's just minus the alcohol.
Yeah.
So whatever.
If you can get the taste, I mean, if Beaches can get the taste without the alcohol, I will drink that every day.
Yeah. I'll bring you back some beers next time.
No?
Is that a deal?
Is that a deal?
Every day?
That's a deal. That's a deal.
But yeah, I mean, so why not? People that are health conscious, people that are people that just can't consume alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean they have to be excluded.
Oh, I have a friend that cannot consume. Yeah.
I've got a few mates
Allergy.
that can't, but they can still go out and have a beer with you, or still go out and think that they're, or not because they're drinking a beer.
Yeah.
It's just a no or low alcohol beer, and I think in society these days, especially the Australian society, which was built on drinking beers, we're big beer drinkers, we're proud of that, I think a lot people these days are kind of moving, especially the younger generations are moving away from that kind of thought process. So it doesn't matter if you go out and have a no alcohol or low alcohol beer, and there's some fantastic ones out there. I just judged at the Australian International Beer Awards, which is the second largest beer awards in the world of its type. And one of the rounds that I judged was no and low alcohol, and the beers were amazing, absolutely amazing. There's gluten-free beers that were fantastic as well, We're not just stuck to, I don't know, there's so much diversity in beer these days. It's not just the primary kind of product that maybe our parents were used to, or maybe we were used to in our earlier age kind of thing. There's so much diversity, so much you can do, and it's super exciting because there's new stuff coming out all the time. Different styles, different kind of augments of different styles, like the lollipop milkshake, lactose sour, chocolate ice cream beer.
Yeah. The mango ice cream beer.
They're happening. They're there.
Okay, so
You got
Jen,
it.
Right.
for the people, how do you keep beer the right way?
Okay, so keep craft beer the right way.
Yes.
I mean, with the difference between craft beer and other commercial beers is that craft beers are usually non-pasteurized.
Okay.
So it's like, pasteurized milk and non-pasteurized milk. Uhate is non-pasteurized milk. I'm sorry.
Uhate is pasteurized.
Pasteurized milk. And you can keep it out, and then you can put it in the fridge. You can keep it out, put it in the fridge, and you can still drink it.
Yeah.
But the milk goes bad if you
Keep it out.
your fresh milk out.
Yeah.
So craft beer is similar if like that, because it's non-pasteurized. It's like fresh milk. Yeah. So some people, I know, I give out beers a lot to my friends and relatives.
Well,
and
they keep it outside of the fridge.
yes, they don't know.
If they want to drink it, they put it in the fridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's me.
So it doesn't.
So it's wrong. Oh shit.
It doesn't go. It doesn't go bad, but the taste.
It actually does. It does. It has a shelf life.
Yeah.
And you of all people should know this, young man.
No. Sorry.
So not pasteurized. Pasteurizing is a process that's used to heat the beer up to kill up any bacteria that may be inside.
Yeah.
But what it does is you lose flavour and aroma from that, about 30%. So this is how I train the guys on the team. Treat it like milk, like proper milk. Keep it in the fridge, keep it cold, drink it fresh. Right? If you keep it outside, say in a warm environment.
Yeah, Jakarta room temperature. Yeah.
Yeah, room temperature without an aircon. Would you have done that in Australia?
Maybe.
He's saying yes. Yeah. That's why you need a beer fridge. You need a separate fridge that's dedicated for beer.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not good for the product. So you're heating it up, you're cooling it down, you're heating it up, you're cooling it down. The stability, you got to remember it's all natural. It's a natural product. So it is like unpasteurized milk. drink fresh and cold.
Keep it in the fridge.
Keep it in the fridge. Because there's nothing worse, and I see this a lot. You know, you go to someone's house and they're like, I bought that case about 2 months ago, and you try it and it should still be fresh, but they've been keeping it in the garage or something out of the fridge, and you're like, well, you've just literally, you might not be able to taste it, but once I show you what to detect and show you the oxidization, it just, what it does is it accelerates the downfall of what potentially might be in the beer. So oxygen is dissolved oxygen, and oxygen is our biggest enemy in craft beer, right? And in beer in general, right? So that will actually, you know, turn into, once you keep it out of the fridge, it will turn into a real tinny kind of metallic-y kind of character, but also wet cardboard kind of character as well there too. Just some real quick kind of telltales. Just keep it in the fridge. Keep it cold. Love it like you know, a product you would.
I think it's important.
Food,
not only for the home drinkers, but for the restaurants and businesses as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, most often times they don't keep beer in the, even craft beer, not in the fridge, in the storage room.
Because they're used to keeping all the other beers outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's the first time we discussed this on a podcast.
So what's really interesting, and this is what we've kind of, because I you know, my coming over here, and I said, I'll do this, but there's there was a few other, you know, kind of guidelines that we needed to adhere to, and that was cold chain logistic.
Yeah.
So everything is kept cold.
Yeah.
We have a huge cool room at the brewery that goes out to our
cold storage truck.
That goes out to our businesses that are selling our beer from their cold truck up to Jakarta, everything from there. And instead of, so we work quite closely with our customers to educate them on that. So instead of them buying 30 cases, right, of beer, holding, you know, 25 or 20 outside, and putting 10 in the fridge, we're like, okay, order the 30, but how about why don't we do this a bit differently? Why don't we order 10, 10 and 10? Yeah. Right, we'll deliver it to you, 10, 10 and 10, right? We'll keep it cold for you. Yeah. You know, we'll keep it cold, fresh. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's kind of get this nice loop going of you constantly having cold, fresh product. So you're not sitting on 3 months worth of stock that really at the end of the day is you know, it's aging. It's aging as it's sitting outside.
That's what's killed the craft beer revolution the first time in Jakarta. Right? The beer is not kept cold.
No,
I've tried some, I've had some non-cold beers.
No, it's true, Sam.
I go to Vietnam, I go to Thailand, you know, and I try Australian beers there that are being shipped over, and they're all oxidized. Yeah. Because they're sitting in a container for 3 months. You know, they're sitting. Yeah. It's really, really important. It's imperative, and we're super happy to work with our customers to make sure that we're helping them serve our beer the best way possible and the freshest possible as well. It's super important because you wouldn't do it for any other product, would you? No. You know, any other food product, you wouldn't do it. You would adhere to the producer's guidelines. Yeah. So beer's exactly the same, but as Jane said, which is spot on, is people are so used to just keeping it out. Exactly. You go to Vietnam or Singapore and you order a beer and you got a big chunk of ice in it, and it's just poured hot over.
Yes, over your ice. You should go to the north part of Jakarta. Hey. We drink beer with ice there.
Look, Northwest Bali, they didn't even worry about the ice. They just drink the local beer
warm. Oh my God! No.
Yeah. But you know, that's local tradition. They're doing that. It's cool. Yeah.
But you were right though about I guess. When craft beer first came here, it did like first impression is everything, or first few impressions maybe. People are actually interested. They're actually curious.
Yeah,
And
we are
I
really
tried-
curious.
Yeah, I tried it more than once, more than twice, and sometimes it's like, it tastes super off. It's like I'm not enjoying it. I'm paying like a higher price for this beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, why bother? And so that's why we tried really hard to keep everything really fresh. This is how it's supposed to be served. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Education, man.
Yeah.
Education is, and I talk to the guys, the team all the time, is education. We've got to, because people sometimes, it's a bit, but that's how I've always done it.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
We know that method doesn't work in the world when
No.
we got new creative products coming on, whether it's spirits, whether it's wine, whether it's beer, whether it is broke. It's because you haven't got it in the fridge.
Exactly.
And then you're wondering why it tastes like shit.
And some F&B managers and owners are traumatized by it. A lot of people that I met in Jakarta. So whenever we try to sell them our beers, I'd be like, yeah, I've held craft beers before. It's people don't like it. It doesn't move. Like, why would I want yours? And we tell them like, so we actually we're responsible for what comes out.
Yeah.
That's what we can say to them, and we'll make sure that it's moving. And then we'll try and do our best, from our side, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I know in my heart that back then it's sometimes they don't keep it cold or
We don't know. That's why I mentioned this is the first time I discussed it in the podcast. I mean, in my Indonesian restaurant previously, I offered craft beer, but they always taste not good, and they came in warm. From the distributor.
Yeah. Look, this is something in Australia, and I'm lucky enough, maybe old enough, I don't know which ones, but to have been part of the craft beer revolution in Australia, and I got the same feedback from some pubs, some bars, the old publican, I've tried it, it doesn't work, that old kind of thing, and it's like, well, try it again, and try it again, and try it again, and you get...
But they came in warm, Sam.
Yeah, I know. See, that's...
I don't know. We have to keep it cold. This is when you mentioned like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's why.
we spend
really important.
We spend a lot of time on our end as well, cold chain. It costs more.
Of course.
But we're going to benefit in the end because it's a better product that we're giving to you.
Yeah.
So I mean, anyone out there that's whether it's at home, you're consuming it, just put it in the fridge, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, like keep it cold, keep it fresh, care for it, love it. Like we love it. We spend, we're super passionate about our product, and we want to make sure that you, the consumer, is experiencing it at its best and its peak kind of, performance and tasting. And you're only doing yourself an injustice by sitting it out next to the fridge and just putting one or two in when you want it.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it cold, guys.
There we go.
Keep it cold.
Keep it cold.
Okay, next question from Hugh saja. Mau nanya bagaimana cara Kajen atau Samara untuk memilih bahan in choosing the ingredients for this product and for your next product. So, does the product comes first, or I want a beer that tastes like this, like this, like this? Or by the ingredients, you try a bunch of different things and see how it come out.
Sam, that's your expertise.
Yeah.
So it's a first and foremost, it's and speaking to a chef again, first and foremost, the idea comes from late nights, laying in bed.
That's so true.
Not being able to sleep.
That's so true, Sam.
Experiencing different, maybe some different hops, some different yeasts, inspiration from other brewers, inspiration from food, inspiration. So it starts inside, starts in your heart and your head, right? And then you've got to put what's happening here. You've got to put it on paper. Now, not only do you put your idea on paper, but it's a scientific method as well.
Okay.
So you put it on paper of what you're dreaming of, what you're hoping, what the outcome you'd like is, stylistically what you'd like it. Do you want to, do you want to start using some really cool new hops that are coming out, or some great yeasts that are now, in production? Like what do you want the outcome to be? What are you trying to achieve? And then you kind of work backwards and break it down.
Yeah.
Then you have to put it into a scientific calculation to be able to extract the right alcohol, the right colour, the right bitterness, the right flavour, the right aroma. So there's this process that goes along. And then you go back to the beginning again once you've done all that. You know, sometimes it'll take me months to come up with, to put my thoughts and my process down on paper and actually get it to a point where I'm ready to start brewing it.
So, for example, cerveza.
Yep.
My favorite. When you think about this, is it you think that, okay, this type of beer Indonesians will enjoy?
Yep.
And then you start working backwards through that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. If you asked me, is cerveza my favorite style of beer to drink?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Probably not, but it's not about me. It's about the consumer.
Yes.
It's about me studying the consumer, me studying the trends, me having a look at the climate, the humidity, all of those things, and it's about creating a product to give to the people. I'm more of a kind of, I love my sours, I love my pale ales, I love my hazies, those kinds of things, but it doesn't mean I don't love that less. It's just a different thought process of coming up with it. So I want it clean, crisp, I know how to achieve that in my head because I've been doing this for a long time.
Exactly. Okay. So itu, you saja. Hope it answers your questions. What's your favorite beer?
My favorite beer is a Napa.
Napa?
New England IPA.
Okay.
Yeah. I like things refreshing, fruity, and like, a little bit zingy, and with a little bit higher amount of alcohol.
Okay.
And a little bit,
All right.
It hits right that way.
What about you?
It's like asking, it's a cliche, asking what your favourite child is.
Yeah, I know.
It differs for me with the seasons,
Depends,
with the food I'm eating, with the situation I'm in as well. So I like to kind of bounce around on things. I love. I'm frothing on at the moment on imperial fruited sours. Like I'm really enjoying dissecting it as a brewer.
Yeah.
When we're looking at something like, 38 raspberries are in that glass kind of thing, but how does that, the different stages of fermentation where you extract the fruit characters and all that. I love a good stout.
Okay.
I love a pale ale on a hot day.
Yeah.
I love if I'm having good spicy food. I love a good pilsner or lager.
Yeah.
It's just, it all comes down to what's happening day to day.
Yeah, depends on your experience.
Yeah.
This cerveza will be great with a plate of satay. A grilled satay, light, maybe satay lilit in Bali, or pork satay.
Food is really, beer and food has a really wonderful relationship together. So you got your spicy, oily foods.
Yes.
Okay, like let's just say, kind of a laksa or something like that, spicy, oily.
Babi guling.
Babi guling. There we go. Sorry, let's keep it local. Babi guling, and then you want something to cut through.
Yes.
You want something to cut through the kind of fat and the fullness of that, and refreshen your palate, ready for the next mouthful. And then your pale ales with, something that's a little bit more broader, maybe a bit of duck or something like that.
Bebek betutu.
No, don't even go there.
Bebek betutu.
Bebek and gili manuk.
She's drenched in like sweat and water.
We go up there. We're the my partner, we're the only white people in the place.
Yeah.
And we just sit down with three, because they do AM.
Yeah.
There's no bebek anymore. So, and we just like, and then beers. And it's
So
just,
there you go, guys.
it is it's such a beautiful experience.
Babi guling with cerveza and bebek betutu with pale ale.
That's
Beaches.
it.
Yeah,
that's it for sure.
Beautiful, Sam. Beautiful experience.
It's marriage. You don't know, watching me eat it is not beautiful because I'm like, yeah, we get it spicy.
Okay, this is the
so
last
fun,
question from our friend Cho Steven 28. Shout out to Steven.
Hi, Steven.
Hi, Stephen.
So, this is a bit technical. Maybe it's for you, Sam. A lot of craft breweries is switching from extremities beers to beers that are easier to approach. How does Beaches balance that and maintain the essence of craft? What is extremities beer? Is it so complex that only a certain connoisseurs can enjoy, or what does it mean, extremities beer?
I think where Stephen's trying to go here is the real complex, the real kind of beers that have so many different elements to them, and the flavour and the taste, and you get your beer nerds that'll be sitting around going, you know, it kind of. I'm actually seeing trends now throughout the world is. Going back to really beautiful lagers, pilsners, and it's really, really difficult to brew those styles, lagers, pilsners, well, because there's nowhere to hide. There's no hops to hide behind. There's no, big esters and body to hide behind. So it's a super, super hard style to
just as it
to
is.
nail because you got less to hide behind. But it also, again, like we spoke about before, that's why we got our cerveza, because it's a beautiful gateway beer.
Yeah.
It's sessionable, smashable. It's something we can keep drinking and then maybe drop over to the pale. But I am seeing the trends throughout the world starting to go back to your less hoppier beers. I think that is based on cost as well. So cost of ingredients as well as the trends actually going there worldwide. So be interesting to see what happens in the next few years. There's a lot of innovation being put towards different ingredients in beers. So, it could go anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, because the next question is, are Pilsner and lagers are the next big thing. A lot of craft brewery are shifting away from the traditional hop-forward beers. So, hop-forward, does it mean equals more bitterness?
No. Remember your flavour and aroma.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so hop-forward means
more
using
complex
more
flavor,
hop characters inside the beer. So, this is a more hop-forward beer than that is.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, same answer, I guess, really, at the end of the day. Comes down to cost, taste.
Yeah.
Because the more ingredients you put in your beer, the more it's going to cost.
More it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been very enjoyable for me. Thank you very much for your time. You coming from Bali. Have you come back here? If you have any more products we can talk about beer more, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jen, I hope you have a good time.
I did.
I wish much success for Beaches Brewing Co Bali. Please open a bar next time here.
Yeah. Hey,
cheers.
Ray, thanks for having us, mate.
Visit your bar first. Then.
Yeah. When you open that Japanese bar.
Oh, yeah. And, okay, moral of the podcast, keep it cold, smashability, crushability, and sessionability, right? Choose a beer that's...
And don't be scared of the price, because generally it's priced because there's some beautiful ingredients going in there. And the farmers from all over the world, really, really take care of these as well.
Yeah.
And, another huge thing for us is we're super environmentally charged, and we want you to be consuming better. We want cans rather than bottles. There's so much more to just our products. It's the dream and the life behind it for us.
Very important. Your Instagram?
Yeah.
Beaches Instagram?
Oh, right. What about my Instagram?
What about it?
Yeah, well, follow us at Beaches Beer Bali.
Yeah.
It's the camera.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and tune in. Really exciting stuff.
Yeah, and stay tuned. Biasanya Beaches nanti collab sama our outlets, teman-teman kita di Jakarta or in Bali. Kalau ada collaboration apa nanti will let us know on my social media. Usually I'll be there to drink beer and eat delicious food. And stay tuned for that. Next time we'll do the podcast in the breweries.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah,
Welcome anytime.
Jane will direct the documentary.
Oh no!
Bring back that filmmaking passion. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you very much buat yang udah nonton dan yang udah dengerin podcast kita kali ini. Please order Beaches Brewing Co Bali. Instagramnya di Beaches Beer. My personal favorite cerveza menurut gua is very light, crisp and can be enjoyed anytime. Tapi ada pale ale juga kalau yang lebih suka more complex flavors. And stay tuned for our next episode. Jangan lupa subscribe di Janson Radio Podcast di YouTube, Spotify and all other podcast platform. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok di Janson Radio. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Cheers one more time.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.